Back in the day, when I first started to Let's Play, I wondered what kind of games I should play. I enjoy a big variation of games, but sadly, I suck at most of them. So I decided to go with something that is mostly easy to play and story-oriented, RPG Maker games. But I also wanted to provide a bit of variation. Therefore, I decided to play visual novels. That genre was completely new to me. And to be honest, when I first decided to play Katawa Shoujo as my very first visual novel, I expected something silly to come out. I had heard of dating sims before, and I even tried a little flash dating sim, I sadly can't remember its name, to try out if videos like these would be any fun. And since the little flash visual novel dating sim kinda thing was very silly and very bad, I decided it might be fun to play something like that. But then, surprise, turns out this game is not silly at all. It is actually really good. I would go as far as to say that it is one of my favorite games of all time. Now that doesn't mean the game is perfect and the story is perfect and flawless, but the game had something special about it that resonated with me a lot, especially in that time. Now since I played Katawa Shoujo, this channel has gained over 250 subscribers. Therefore I decided to come back to this little jewel and talk about my top 5 favorite moments in Katawa Shoujo. Two things before we actually jump into this top 5 list. First of all, there will be spoilers. Actually, there will be a lot of spoilers. So please, before you watch this video, play the game. Second of all, I have only played the Emi, Lily and Hanako route, in this order by the way, as the experts of you probably already realized when they saw my main menu screen. I will explain the reasons for this in a review I'm going to make, so you can look forward to that. But that also means that there will only be scenes from these 3 routes, so I apologize to all the Rin, Shizune and Misha fans. And last but not least, I decided to only choose scenes that are relevant to the plot of Katawa Shoujo. Because in my opinion, the best scenes in Katawa Shoujo are the ones where they're just casually talking. But then my top 5 list would look like this. Number 5. Lily and Hisao talk while they shop groceries. Number 4. Lily and Hisao talk while they get to know each other. Number 3. Lily, Hisao and Hanako sit around, play chess and talk. Number 2. Hisao and Lily talk in the library. Number 1. Lily and Hisao talk while they went shopping and now they're sitting at a cafe, yay! I feel like all these scenes had something in common, but I just can't put my finger on it. And now, without further ado, let's jump into my top 5 moments/scenes in Katawa Shoujo. Number 5. Hanako and Hisao playing pool. Now I wanna be honest with you people. I actually have 1 or 2 major problems with the Hanako route that make me kinda torn on her route overall. Good way of starting a top 5 list. Shit on everybody's favorite character and make them really pissed off by that. But that doesn't change the fact that I actually really enjoyed this scene. We actually spent quite a lot of time waiting for Hanako to finally open up towards Hisao. And when she did, it didn't only feel rewarding. No, it also felt kinda realistic. In many stories, when people tell you about their gruesome backstory, they start out with, well, that was my father dying on the floor, 30 knives stuck in his body, and yada yada yada. This wasn't the case here. She didn't tell Hisao each and every single detail. She stated general stuff first. And when we actually got to the detailed parts of her story, she became hesitant to tell them, like a normal human being would. Overall, the whole pool scene made you feel like these 2 characters, Hisao and Hanako, grew closer together. Another nice aspect of this scene is actually hidden in between the lines. When Hisao told Hanako that he is here to protect her in case Lily is gone or something like that, Hanako first doesn't react at all and later says, "I'll protect you too, Hisao." Now this is pretty vague, but it shows that she wants to be treated like a normal human being, which is supposed to be the overall story and morale of Hanako's route. So, good on you creators for putting it right in there in this scene. Nummer 4. Lily's confession. The bad one. Now if I was totally subjective, I would put up this scene way higher, because it really hit me like a brick in the face. But since I have objectively a few problems with it, I put it down here at number 4. By now you probably understand that Lily's was my favorite route, and therefore you probably also understand how badly I felt betrayed here. When Akira told Hisao that Lily is leaving Japan and going to Scotland, I thought this can't be right like that. Well, it was right like that. After all the time Hisao and Lily spent together. After all the talks they had. Just over? Like that? And this is what really annoys me in the retro perspective. This had way too little build up. Way too little build up in my opinion. This twist, and it breaks my heart to say it because still Lily's route is my favorite route, but this twist was kinda cheap. Looking at it now, it seems like it's a scene out of a Rosamund Pilcher novel. Now granted, this scene got the reaction out of me I was supposed to have. And boy oh boy was I upset. Like, I felt legitimately upset at an imaginary character. This scene was still the setup for a good ending that I found very cheesy and very underwhelming. Because even though Lily was kinda Mary Sue-ish, and even though her and Hisao's relationship were kinda by the books, and even though their story seemed a bit uncreative from time to time, Lily's and Hisao's relationship felt so natural all the time. To me, it was the ultimate slice of life story. Just two people having a wonderful relationship. Now one could argue there is also sadness and drama in relationships. But next time for a story like this, maybe something less crazy over the top, and maybe introduce it a little bit earlier. But to be fair, this scene really broke my heart. I was devastated after that. And to this day, when I listen to the Katawa Shoujo OST, and I listen to Moment of Decision, I think of this scene. So although I don't really like this scene in the context of Lily's story, it was still a devastating scene to me, and I think it deserves its place on this list. Numéro 3. I think I'm in love. Now this scene is actually the polar opposite of my number 4. Why? Well, because I think if you look at it objectively, you will find better scenes than this in Katawa Shoujo that won't be on this list. It's probably even a stretch to put this scene on this list at all, because it's not really plot relevant. On the other hand, in this scene Hisao realizes that he's in love with Emi, and that seems relatively important to the plot. So why this scene and not any other? When I first played Katawa Shoujo, I really wanted to get onto the Lily route. That wish was denied when I decided to actually do something for Hisao's health. So I was a little bit pissed. Until this scene here happened. I suddenly felt like the biggest jerk on earth. Who am I to judge Hisao for his honest and true feelings? This was the scene where I started to totally give in to the experience called Katawa Shoujo. This short and simple, yet honest and heartfelt moment flipped the switch for me. It flipped the switch from, this is actually not bad to, wow, this is actually something really good. And that is why this little scene holds a special place in my heart. Nummer 2. Hanako's Breakdown. How the hell did Hanako make it twice onto my list? I mean, her route is my least favorite route out of the 3 I played. Hashtag controversial statement. But I always try to be a fair man. And this scene was just good. One of the aspects that makes this scene so good is that it was put into the right place in the right time. One thing that annoys me in many stories are scenes that you could put anywhere in the story or even leave out and it would make absolutely no difference. This scene here is the polar opposite. We had finally reached the point of Hanako trusting Hisao, maybe even considering him a friend. They hung out together, they played chess together. Hanako felt comfortable around Hisao. You started getting the feeling that together you could overcome Hanako's problems. Oh, and how wrong we all were. Hanako wasn't just a social outcast. Hanako didn't need just a friend. Hanako's problems went deeper. So deep that you couldn't just solve them like this. That was the perfect point of time for the player to get to this realization. Now don't get me wrong, the scene was good for other reasons too. I liked how they built up the anxiety of Hanako, first just feeling uncomfortable, up to the point where she had an actual nervous breakdown. Because until she actually had the breakdown, I was convinced this was just the usual Hanako spiel. She feels uncomfortable around people, etc, etc. But when she actually broke down, I was like, how did I not see that coming? I'm so foolish. Also, it provided Shizune and Misha with a scene where they could show their humanity. First they were shocked and then they were ready to help. Even though the person needing the help was the best friend of Shizune's bitter rival Lily. And last but not least, the scene was just very well written. You could feel the helplessness of Hisao, how angry he was with himself that he didn't see this coming. But again, what makes it so great is actually the positioning of the scene. This was the scene where I went from la la la, I'm helping this little poor girl, la la la, to there might actually be more to this. Now in my opinion, the game never really delivered on the more to this aspect, but that is a story for another day. And last but not least, the long-awaited numero uno, Lily's goodbyes. One might argue that putting her goodbye to Shizune and her goodbye to Hanako in the number 1 spot is kind of cheating, since it's more or less 2 moments or 2 scenes. And to that I say you are probably right. Let's talk about her goodbye to Shizune first. You know, this might seem a bit random now, but I'm a big wrestling fan. And my favorite kind of feuds are those where 2 people fight each other who have a good reason to fight each other. Emotions stir up and in the end they have a match. The match is long, takes like 40 minutes, and in the end one guy beats the other. And after they are done fighting, the victor reaches out to the loser, pulls him up to his feet and shakes his hand. And the loser holds up the arm of the winner. Now granted, in this fight there were no winners or losers. It was a nice scene of both of them showing mutual respect. Because in the end of the day, their fights were about matters and goals, and not about their personalities, and they're still family. Talking about family, Lily was probably the closest thing to family Hanako had. In the Lily route, the creators actually spent quite a lot of time showing how Hanako grew as a person. She started to handle stuff on her own, to not stand in Lily's and Hisao's way. And deep inside we all felt that Hanako will be okay, even though Lily is gone. But seeing Hanako clinging on to Lily, not wanting to let her go, and Lily explaining to Hanako that she will be fine even without her, was at least to me the most touching scene in the whole visual novel. And to be honest with you guys, when Shizune gave Lily the papers, I had tears in my eyes. And when Lily said goodbye to Hanako, I was actually sobbing. And when the man who has, and I'm quoting a viewer here, a brick for a heart actually starts crying, it must be pretty touching. So there you have it, folks. First of all, thank you so much for watching. If you liked this, tell me in the comments down below and I might do more of this in the future. And let me also thank you for, as of I'm recording this video, 276 subscribers. Kinda late with the 250 subscriber special, huh? Just bad at time management. So yeah, this is amazing. Basically, we were 2.5 months, I think. Around 2.5 months, we were at 150. Now we're already pretty close to double the amount. That's pretty crazy and pretty awesome. So I thank each and every one of you who shared any of this stuff with his friends. I guess at least some of you must do this. Otherwise I have no idea where all these people suddenly are coming from. And yeah, it's just awesome. And I thank each and everyone who is watching this and subscribed to the channel and who's not subscribed to the channel. I appreciate every view, every comment. It's just awesome to me. And yeah, oh, I wanted to mention that again. I will do a thoughts and opinions video on Katawa Shoujo. For those of you who don't know what that is basically my kind of review. It's nothing fancy like, I don't know, Nostalgia Critic or something like that, but it's just me talking a bit about my opinions. Nothing more and nothing less. So, if you're interested why I don't like the Hanako route as much as most people, and why I personally think not Hanakos, but Lily's Goodbye scene was cool, but the good ending was actually not, you know, kind of controversial opinions. I tend to have controversial opinions. So if you're interested why I'm having these controversial opinions, stay around and look forward to that. And if not, it's cool too. So, thank you everybody for watching. If you feel like it, watch other stuff, you're free to do so. Play RPG Maker games, play visual novels. I already mentioned that in the beginning of the video. I start repeating myself, so I should wrap it up here. And yeah, I hope I'll see you in the future. Bye bye.